All right, let's share this. Look at the vocabulary. Let's color. Does that help any? Die Farbe. Yeah, no connection in English there. Farbe. My aunt. Good. So everything we have here is going to be a masculine relative, be with no ending, like mine, dein, euer, unser. Feminine relatives, meine, deine, unsere. Okay, like that. So in this case, feminine, meine Tante. Good. And dark blue? Nine. Dunkelblau. Okay. What color is that? Yeah. Ist das? Welche Farbe ist das? Welche Farbe ist das? Her stepsister. Okay, so all the feminine relatives are going to put an E on the end of that possessive adjective. Again, ihre Stiefschwester. Here's the spelling, ihre Stiefschwester. It's a mouthful. Light blue. That's hellblau. And the good man. Der gute Mann. We're going to have maybe different endings on this word gut, but still means good. Der gute Mann, blue, just blue. Blau. Good man. Guter Mann. Doesn't mean gooder. This is extra right here. That just tells us that Mann is a masculine word. Good. And black. Schwarz. No T in that word. Light brown. Hellbraun. Sehr gut. Orange. Yeah, orange. How do you say that? Orange. It breaks the rule. You don't pronounce the E on the end like we normally would in German, but okay. Yellow. Gelb. With a B on the end. Gelb. And his wife. Nine. If it's feminine, we're going to put an E on the end. Seine Frau. Good. Brown. Brown. And your son, but plural. Talking to two people. Your son. Maybe you said it. Euer Sohn. Okay. The white cat. The white cat. Not a white cat. Not white cat. Die weiße Katze. Die weiße Katze. Good. Your uncle. Dein Onkel. Our mother. Unsere. Put an E on the end, right? Unsere Mutter. And your sister, also feminine, right? So, Schwester, but this is the formal your, so 9. That's plural. That's plural. But formal your. But it's danke, ihre Schwester. Sehr gut. And of. Von. So, das ist die Frau von, yeah, Herr Schmidt. Okay. The wife of. That we use that word a lot. That's the cousin of, the brother of white. Weiß we had already with Katze. And pink. Rosa with an A on the end. Rosa. Okay. A good man. We had the good man. A good man. Ein guter Mann. Ein guter Mann. Good. Gray. Grau. A-U, almost like English. Red, rot, we've had before, or other vocabulary. Blonde hair. That's why. So it's Haare, blonde Haare. We add the E to that. A white cat. Okay. It was die weiße Katze, and now eine weiße Katze. Our Father. Unser Vater. Dark brown. Dunkelbraun. We had hellbraun, brown, and dunkelbraun. And the relationship, this is a whole different word. This is no connection. Verhältnis. Verhältnis. Green. Does that help any? Now it's going to grün. Grün. And purple. Lila. There's a famous novel, and it made into a movie too, called Die Farbe Lila. You know that novel? Well, you tell me. Die Farbe, the color, purple. You heard that movie before? Or not movie, that was a novel first. Yeah, Steven Spielberg made that movie. Die Farbe Lila. It's a long story. It's a epic. I'll tell you something. Her husband. Mann. That's it. Mann is masculine, so no ending. My family. Okay, what's the gender of familia? Meine Familie, ja. Okay, das ist für Montag. Vokabelquiz. Me. See if I can stop that. I'm going to talk here to, well, Cullen's not there, but Cullen, in a little bit, I'm going to cut you off because the video I'm going to show, again, I'll send you the links, but it would knock off the whole video if I post it that way. So we got a little bit off topic yesterday, but made me think about something. I think I talked about this woman before. Didn't I show you the Jesse Owens video thing before? And I might have mentioned the woman who filmed. It was a woman who filmed all those Olympic scenes. And that's her name right there on the top of the board, Leni Riefenstahl. Yeah, and it's one of these weird things where not everything she did, but the things she did during the Nazi regime, you got to hate her for that. I mean, at the same time, if you look at a list of top directors of the 20th century, or the film hasn't been around all that long really, but movies. But a lot of times she'll pop up in a top 10 or top 20 list of directors. And she's definitely, if not the first, she's one of the very first female film directors, because she was making movies in the 20s, 30s for sure. And there just weren't that many people in the field at all, but then women as directors that would have been extremely rare. But she was very innovative, and she was very creative while things were still pretty primitive, then they had large movie cameras. They had some smaller, more handheld type cameras, but she was still limited on, the other technology like we'd have today. Like today, you can put a camera inside of a drone, and it's very clean and very smooth and beautiful photos and video, and you can buy that and do that yourself, and you've got probably in your pocket or maybe out on your desk right now, you've probably got a higher quality video camera than Leni Riefenstahl had to work with back then. I'm sure that you do. But she worked with what she had, and she had a couple of, I don't want to say inventions, but ideas. One thing that she did was that she put a camera on a cart. so that they could pull the cart and it would keep so the cameraman would be like kind of steadied down like this, so he could hold the camera as still as possible. Or they could put the camera on a tripod too, but maybe they might want to move, a little bit. But that way, keeps the same like level. So if you held your camera, you had your phone and this is my phone right here, and I'm like gonna walk like this through the classroom. Well, I can try to hold it as like level as I want to, but still as I'm walking, I'm kind of it's moving up and down. If you're trying to record something when you're walking, it comes out fine, but it doesn't have that like perfect kind of glide. Like, so by putting a camera on a pull cart, and then sometimes putting the cart on a track, like like this, she could even pull this thing in a circle, and it would be a perfect, like the tracks would be measured out, so it was a perfect circle. And so, of course, somebody had to pull the cart. But this is like a really common thing today. If you want to film somebody in the middle, but you want to be moving around them while they're talking, or there's a couple standing here, you're making a movie, and they're kissing, they haven't seen each other, I don't know, some glorious romantic scene, okay? And you want to move around them while they're having this embrace, okay? Well, that camera is on a track. There's a track on the ground, and it keeps that camera from going like this,
They do this like
Well, they did this. The particular scene I'm thinking about is they did it during the Triumph of the Will, that movie.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's all. I'm going to show you some clips from both.
How would someone like pull the cart like running fast and moving?
Yeah, no, it wouldn't work for that. It would only work for the sports maybe where where it's not like speeds not involved. They did it for that, and also for the ceremonial scenes. But this kind of thing today, this is really normal. And in fact, the cart is like motorized even, so it moves you can set it at a certain pace, because the guy pulling it's going to pull a little faster sometimes and maybe not as fast other times. There can only be some human elements involved there. But that's a real normal thing. But she came up with this idea, though, of steadying the camera on some kind of moving device, whether it was pulled or whatever, and on a track or not. Then another thing she did, and I'll show you in the video, this here. There's one scene in the Triumph of the Will, that movie I was mentioning, where they're in Nuremberg at this big rally. That's the whole movie takes place in Nuremberg at the party rallies they had. And there's just, did I show this yesterday? There's all these columns of soldiers, there's tens of thousands of soldiers. It's a huge, I actually went there, I've been there a long time ago, but I went back the year before last. I was there anyway, but how was it? The area is so huge. It's still there, like the parade grounds, I guess they would call it. It's gigantic, and they have all these columns. I could never draw enough lines on here, really. And in the middle is like an open area, and so Hitler and Himmler and one of the Gauleiter, or the district leader from Nuremberg, they walk kind of a triangular shape, like Hitler's in front and Himmler and the other guy. And they walk all this long way down this huge, long, you'll see. And there's a band playing very kind of somber music. Well, what she did was, behind them, they're walking this way, let's say, there's a stage up here. And behind them were these big, long Nazi banners, big, long red banners with swastikas on them, They love flags, man. They love those flags back then. You notice that? So we had a lot of flags. Flag industry was hot back then.
They could have camouflaged a lot more countries if they put less red dye.
Yeah, they should have had a camo colored flag or something.
Iron oxide countries running around the Eastern Front.
Well, she wanted to have a scene where Hitler and the other two guys are walking away from her, walking towards the stage. Of course, she had cameras on the stage looking the other way too. And she wanted to be like, the camera to be like elevating and actually had kind of a pulling back effect while Hitler is moving away. That would give that effect. And so as she's going upward, well, how's she going to get that? Like today, we'd say, well, let's get a drone, or you put the camera on one of these cranes, and Yeah, the director can sit in the seat there and do the whole thing. What they did though was they made I call it an elevator, but it's not. It's really, those things that the electrical people work on electrical lines.
Yeah.
Those kind of bucket things they get inside of, and there's a crank. It looked more like that, the bucket thing, but it actually was on cables though. It actually was motorized, and she's inside there, and in between two of these banners, they had a line running up, and that little bucket, I think it's the collar actually, would go up. And so she's filming them walk away from her while she's moving upward. Now, you would never even notice she was there. These banners are too big, the expanse is too wide. But when they start filming, when the cameras take over from the other side, from the bandstand side here, I can point it out to you. I can show you where you can see her, not her, but you can see that little cart that she's in going upward. You'll see. It's kind of hard to explain because it's too big to put on the board. Yeah, she did a lot of things like this, a lot of innovative things. She had for the track and field stuff, she wanted, like, for the long jump, I think she wanted a ditch dug like alongside the track where they run to go jump. And of course they refused to do it, and she kept like bugging him, and then she got Hitler to say, yeah, I get it. And so that way they could have a camera down at like ground level and like film them like going like this. So they had to draw like this. They had to have like this long, because they want to film different angles and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. That's all, like I said, it's primitive ideas. There's nothing special about this. Put a camera on a cart, dig a hole in the ground. It was all about, perspective and angle and all that kind of stuff that she could get. I'll point out some other things. She also was later in her life, and I thought she lived to be almost 102 years old. Yeah, so only the good die young, right? She's like this hated figure, but also admired figure in a way. There was a documentary made about her where she participated in it, called The Wonderfully Horrible Life of Leni Riefenstahl. That kind of describes, because like you've got people like Steven Spielberg and George Lucas who will talk about, I hate everything she stands for. I hate everything that she did for the Nazis. But she makes a heck of a film though. She really knows how to put together images together and make it, really. And okay, she did. So as much as you can appreciate art separated from the topic or separated from the artist, you can appreciate. And so people who know film know that she knew. But this one film that you mentioned, this Triumph of the Will film, is still today, I think if you ask somebody, what's the greatest piece of propaganda ever created? This is it. This is the one they mentioned. Even today, right? So, this idea of propaganda kind of someone asked somebody earlier what propaganda is. It's fake news. That's pretty good. You make things look better than what they are, more grandiose than they really are. You move people emotionally with, it doesn't have to be, it could be propaganda, it could come in written form, it doesn't have to be in visual form. And so all countries engage in propaganda to a certain degree, not all for the same nefarious purposes like the Nazis did. The Nazis wanted to really exude this idea of strength and numbers and army and lots of people that are falling in line or, are good soldiers and good civilians. Okay, but let me show you something. I'll tell you that up until the year before she died, and it was very difficult for her to get any money to make movies. People didn't want to fund her movies, didn't want to give her money because they cost money to make a movie. And she did make a couple of movies after World War II, but not much. And just like a year before she died, she made an underwater movie, and she was using a new kind of camera. This was back in the early 2000s, and it was anyway, you'll see. It's pretty amazing footage of she's in a coral reef, I think, and the colors are just unbelievable. And but it's her. She's swimming around and with her camera. There's a cameraman as well, so there's two cameras actually, I think. Also, she made a movie about a tribe in Africa, the Nuba tribe in Africa, and yeah, documented a lot of things that are actually worth knowing in the bigger field of anthropology and all that. So cultural anthropology, at least. Made a movie, and even though she was a great photographer too. In her late 90s, sometime in Africa, on her way or coming or going from the Nuba, the helicopter crashed, and other people died in that crash. She's like 97. She like walked away. Like, yeah, she had some cuts and bruises. But she's a pretty stout, sturdy woman in that way. Well, death gets us all eventually. Let's look at a couple of these videos. Cullen, I gotta let you go. Otherwise, we will all be banned from YouTube. But I'll send you the links, okay?